Today I'll be flying the Su-33 and I'll be doing the aircraft carrier landings. Now, this video is for me to get ready for the F-14 Tomcat. Yes, I know the F-14 Tomcat is different from the airspeeds, the landing configurations, and the angle of attack, and the landing speeds. I understand all of that. However, I just want to get used to doing some type of aircraft carrier landings on some type of aircraft. And the Su-33 is a little bit, it's not similar, but the process is going to be the same with the traffic pattern, making sure you put your tail hook first, and then so you won't forget it. People tend to forget things, and then after that the flaps and then the landing gear. I've seen numerous people on the multiplayer servers, and they land without their putting down their landing gears. I mean, it's pretty embarrassing. It's extremely funny, and I tend to laugh a lot. They hit the props or hit their engines, and then they blow up. So it's best to have some type of uniformity where it's going to be the tail hook and then the flaps and then the landing gear. And then you check your airspeed, check your angle, and then check your rate of climb or your descent of climb. So it's a whole process. So for me, it's easy because if I do it my way and I know it's the righteous way, I know I've read on the actual flight manuals the process of doing it in a certain way. It's easy. It's easy to land in an aircraft carrier. It's going to be a lot harder when it's have a crosswind component, and then your aircraft's gonna be drifting, and then you always got to use your rudders, and then you have a gust of wind, and then you're gonna be start panicking, and then once your rate of climb is too slow, too fast, and you're just gonna hit the stern of the aircraft carrier, and then you're gonna crash, and then you're gonna be on the water, and then you try and eject, but you can't eject because you're already dead. So anyways, so the tail hooks is extremely important. Make sure it's down, the flaps is down, the landing gear is down. Now the resting wires. Now the resting wires, there's 4 of them on each aircraft carrier. So the most important part of the resting wires is trying to aim for the third one. The first one is on the stern, which the stern means back of the boat, okay? But a lot of people's like, oh, it's called back of the boat. No, it's called a stern for a reason because they have that name for a reason. When you're on a ship and you're gonna say, hey, I need you to head to the stern side, because if you say the back side, you could be looking at the back side and thinking you have to go back on the front side. That's the reason why they call it the starboard side and the port side, the bow side, and the stern. So the stern, which is the back, so that's the first wire, then the second wire, then the third wire, then the fourth wire. So this first, and then the second, and then the third, and then the fourth, just like that. So the point I'm trying to do is I'm always want to land on the third wire because that's where everyone wants to be at. If you land the second, that's okay, but the first one you're way too close to the edge, and then you're gonna fall off, or you're gonna hit the edge. And the fourth, you barely missed it, but the second and third resting wires is perfect. So throughout my whole video, I'll be aiming for the third, trying to get the third. If I get the second, it's good enough. I don't care, and trying to have that green light of the angle of attack indicator, and just digressly have some type of slow is stall on the flight path, and trying to land my aircraft to the runway, which is the aircraft carrier runway. So I'm just gonna go slowly and just trying to hit it, not trying to like bounce. If you bounce, I mean you're gonna have full throttle and you have to take off and do it again. So in one of my videos, I actually done it, and that was so super great. So, and look at the lens. I'll try to see the lens. I have my video settings on my graphics card on full power. I got an outstanding computer, and I have all the settings on full power whatsoever. So I could actually see the lens, the meatball, the indicator where I'm all green. I'm doing great, and I'm touching down perfectly fine. So that's what I'm going to be doing for this video and for the upcoming F-14 Tomcat. So all I have to do is read the flight manual for F-14 Tomcat, know exactly what's the short landing speed for the aircraft carrier, and just know the angle of attack and know the flight pattern altitudes. And once I know all of that, then I'm just gonna do a video, and I'm gonna do a live video of just how many times I could land that aircraft on the aircraft carrier without crashing. And I want to make this bet, or not a bet, but I just want to see how others do. So I want to see some people could just go up to 3, 4, or not even 1, or maybe 10, or maybe 20. I'm not too sure. but I'm probably gonna get tired after like 10 because it's a lot of work because you gotta and I'm not saying just stop and then like go back because people will cheat, but that also includes like taking off and then going around the traffic pattern. So you can't really cheat because when you start on this training or the instant action where you're already flying, that computer already set you up perfectly in line with the aircraft carrier. So all you got to do is glide, have a good glide speed, and good stall speed to enough where you're going to land on the aircraft carrier. But for you to do missions on a multiplayer servers or even on the campaign mode, you're going to be flying around. You're going to be going around. Look at your map and then look at your radar and look at your GPS, and you'd be like, okay, yeah, the aircraft carrier is right there. So you're gonna fly there without have any type of uniformity. You're not gonna be unison, with the aircraft carrier that's already taking you there. All you gotta do is just no. You're gonna be as far away as possible, 50 nautical miles, maybe more. So you gotta go over there, then fly there, then trying to land with the proper airspeed and everything else. So that's good. That is good to know that you take enough, you're gonna fly around, do a regular traffic pattern, going upwind, crosswind, downwind, then on base, then to final, to the runway, and then once you land into the runway and touchdown, you get the resting wires on the hook on the resting wires, and bam, and make sure it's the third one. So the point is trying to have some fun. So a lot of people are gonna get mad, or I see some people start cussing and yelling. Well, here's the thing. Here's my tip for everyone. Is number one, do it on the regular airfield and doing land. Regular landing, normal landing. If you can't do that, that's the first step you have to do. Is to also learn how to do slow flight. That's the most important thing because this is extremely important. People think, if you're going to put more power, you're going to go a faster airspeed. Not at slow flight. Slow flight is actually backwards. So if you want more airspeed, then you're going to dip your nose down, and then that's going to give you a faster airspeed. If you dip your nose up, you're going to lose airspeed. So you want it, that's the reason why for the angle attack too, is to have it in a certain angle so you're going to have a consistent airspeed. So you're going to be consistent airspeed throughout the whole time. Then you have to worry about the descent rate. So it's going to look like this. So consistent airspeed without descending or ascending, it's just normal. It's equalized. But once you want to do a lower descent rate, then here's the aircraft carrier. Then you're just going to land, and that's perfect. So if you get that concept, then you can start doing the aircraft carrier landings. So many people are going to disagree, like, you know what? Oh no, you should start just going at it and this and that. Well, do the landings first on the airfield. Do the normal landings, then do the short landings on the airfield, and then after you're good with that, just go ahead and start with the aircraft carrier. And don't do it on a multiplayer or on a server. Just do it on the training. But the first one should be easy for you. The computer's already set up for you. All right, so it's already set up for you. So go ahead and try to land. And then once you land and you put your hook up, leave the flaps on, and then go ahead and take off because you'll see me take off even without the catapult. I don't care. So, and I do it. I take off, and then I go around to my traffic pattern and have a perfect traffic pattern. Because if you're just gonna do a huge circle all the way around, then you don't have no uniformity. Then your airspeed is gonna be all whacked up. Then you gotta fix more problems, and that's the more problems you're gonna have, you're not gonna land it. It's gonna be more stressful for you, and then you're just gonna see a huge fireball the whole time. And you start cussing and start yelling, and you're gonna start hitting a tantrum, and then I bet I'm willing to bet how many people are they're gonna love the F-14 Tomcat, but they're just gonna do a regular airfield landings. I cannot wait to see how many people are gonna do a regular airfield landings because the F-14 Tomcat is just for the Navy. Okay. You could land it on the airfield. Don't get me wrong, but I'm willing to bet not many people are gonna land it on the aircraft carrier because they're too. I was a cuss. I don't really want to cuss on my channel. But anyways, I bet they're too scared to land on the aircraft carrier. So I don't want to be the Rio. I want to be the pilot because I find it so intriguing, but also a great challenge. So, and not many people in society could actually land a real, I mean, I'm talking about a real plane. I could land a real plane. And then for simulation, not many people of those people or any other people in society could land on an aircraft carrier. So I even had a couple of colleagues and friends of mine, and I tell them, hey man, look, play this game. Let me know if you could land on an aircraft carrier. They can't even land on a grass field for to save their lives. Okay, so with that being said, the point of this video is to have you guys go ahead and try it. Like just try it. Right now, I know it's the Su-33, but as long as you understand the process, the steps, and you're comfortable. You don't have the anxiety and you start panicking, and you start clicking buttons, and then with the joystick up and down, left and right, you forgot to trim, that's an important thing too. And then you're just gonna it's gonna blow up a huge fireball, and then you're gonna start cussing. So just start on that. So and then when the F-14 Tomcat comes out, I cannot wait. I'm just gonna do myself a favor, and I'm gonna show everyone is just how many times I'm gonna land. I'm gonna do it on live. How many times I'm gonna land the aircraft carrier without crashing. I'm gonna do it like a couple of times. And also, one thing I want to talk about also is I kind of want to have a server dedicated just for aircraft landings and just have like numerous aircraft carriers, and then change up the weather, the inclement weather bit by bit, and see, because if there's no wind whatsoever and it's a perfect pressure altitude, which is 29.92, and it's just everything is constant and the temperature is the normal temperature, then that's way too easy. And then I'll start. What I want to do is start changing it up. Especially have some crosswinds, and see how many people can do that. I'm willing to bet not many people could do that. It's hard. It's really hard. So, anyways, enjoy my short videos of me doing the landings, and I'll be talking to them, a couple of them, have some commentary. But let's see. This is a great challenge. I challenge many DCS World players of landing an aircraft on the aircraft carrier, and how many times, and not just I did it 20 times, but it's just one video here, 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 and then they have a different shirt and the time is different. It's like, nah, I want to see how many times in a row you can land on an aircraft carrier, and it needs to be perfect landing. So it has to be on the resting wire number 3. You're getting bounce or hit the deck really hard, and there you go. So and then we'll talk more about the crosswind component, see how much you had a crosswind component, the difficulty of it. That'd be awesome. But anyways, let's see how we do. So this is gonna be my first aircraft carrier landing on the Su-33. Now this is the very beginning. When you click instant action, and it's the first recovery mode, whatever, recover to the deck. And when I was flying, at first I hate when a computer sets you up, because you have to set up for the computer and do their expectations or whatever. But so I was checking my airspeed, I was checking my descent rate, I was checking my elevation, and I had to say that I should have gone a little bit faster and a little bit higher. And if it's blinking red, just do a full throttle and go around. But I was just holding on that green blinking and then blinking red, and this is like the closest call I ever did. So and I thought to myself, okay, I was gonna crash this one, and then throughout the whole time I'm gonna do like regular landings and learn from it. But was an extreme close call, because it was probably another feet until I really hit the deck and crashed on the aircraft carrier. So here it is, blinking red, and it's just a touchdown, bam. It was like, oh, holy crud, that was close. So I waited, and I totally forgot that the Russian aircraft carrier is a ski jump. They had no catapults, or yeah, catapults to take off the aircraft off the deck. So with the F-14 Tomcat, it's always going to be with the catapult, because I definitely know that it's not going to work with just taking off, with just applying brakes and full throttle. So, so here, what I did was I had the rudder ready and trying to aim at the ski jump, but I wasn't really paying attention. So I just, hold the brakes and then pull full throttle, and all of a sudden it just veered to the left side, and then I completely forgot the ski jump, and I barely made it. I almost touched the water. That was the most hilarious thing ever. So yeah, it's possible. It's possible to take off without the ski jump. So I thought it was hilarious. That's the first landing. So here's the second one, the second aircraft carrier landing on my Su-33. Now this one, okay, before I start, I don't want to add the entire video onto it right now because it's going to be several hours. That includes me taking off, going upwind, crosswind, downwind, base, then to final, then landing. It's going to add a lot. And then, waiting for the wire to retract so I could untrack my hook or raise my hook. So it takes a long time. So I was just gonna cut it short, straight to the point where I'm at final, and I am about to land on the aircraft carrier. So this one, I've noticed that there is a wind component that is dripping my aircraft to the left side. So I noticed that I was adding more right rudder, and I was like, okay, yes, there's gonna be a wind component. I completely forgot it on my briefing. I don't know if it changes or fluctuates. I'm not too sure. But so I was like, okay, yeah, I need to add right rudder and like have a wind correction. Keep having my nose more to the right side, and then when I'm close to the aircraft carrier, I'm right there in the money. So here it was great timing. If I landed just like this, it would have been perfect. However, I was, using the right rudder too much, and this one it was okay. It wasn't that bad at all. I've I probably would have rated 6 out of 10, and probably 5 out of 10 to be quite honest. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't like I hit the deck too hard or I overflown the pattern or anything like that. So I think I caught the third one. So I checked the briefing, and then in the briefing, I've noticed, the temperature was all right, and the pressure altitude was the same. But after that, yes, there is a wind component at 61 degrees at around 2 knots. So I said, okay, you know what? That's good to know because it is going to drift my aircraft to the left side, and I had to add either continuous right rudder or do the corrections on it. So I looked at the compass. I was looking at it, and I said, okay, that's good to know, and good to know my magnetic compass, where it's on the right side. I'll look at it while I am landing on the aircraft carrier. So all I did was apply brakes, making sure that my hook was up. So here is me checking on the hook. Yep, put it back up, flaps down, obviously gear down. All right, add brakes and full throttle. So I was taking off, and this was actually a good ski jump. So it was instruments on the green, airspeed alive. All right, retract the gears. Now this is the third aircraft carrier landing on the Su-33. Now this one, it was bad enough too because instead of going to the edge and hitting the deck, this one was overflying the deck, overflying the actual landing pattern and everything else and the four wires. So with this one, I was looking good at first, but I noticed that I was going underneath and I was hitting the red. So I remember I put a lot of power, but I did the balloon effect, so I had to cut all the power, and I barely made it. Yeah, I was like surprised. It's like, man, I thought I had to like go over the edge, but it caught the fourth wire. So when I did that, I was looking at my gas, and I said, oh man, my fuel is down. I had to like refuel. But with that being said, when I was refueling, the aircraft was moving forward to the edge of the bow. And I said, what? Why is it going to the bow? And even though I had the brakes on, I was holding down the brakes or whatever, it was still moving forward to the bow of the ship. So I had to like restart this. So I was request refueling, and I did the fast time. I was doing the fast forward, and it was just moving slowly. I noticed that. So this is the third one. This is the third one. Here is the fourth landing. It was It was actually all right. It was I could have done it better, but certainly not as bad as the first or third one. So this one, I kept my right rudder adjustments. I wanted the entire way to be green. However, at the end, it was doing a blinking red a bit, but I still maintained it. So at least it wasn't like a hard landing or I crashed into the aircraft carrier. But with that being said, I just needed. I noticed that I kept improving with the aircraft carrier landings on the Su-33. So that's where it was going a little bit red. But when I adjusted a little bit, it was still green. And I think I caught the third one. I think I was aiming for the third one. Not too sure, but yeah, it was a sweet landing. I like this one. Wasn't bad at all. All right, so this is gonna be the fifth aircraft carrier landing. Now this one was pretty sweet. I loved it. It was perfect. So I was positioning myself, and the airspeed was perfect. My descent rate was good. It was even better than I thought it would be. So I was, yeah, going for the money here. I was checking the rudders, wind. I did everything I could, and I had to say this one was sweet. I think this was probably the best out of the entire ones. I think I got two more other landings. I think this one, another one, or I think yeah, two more, one more. I'm not too sure. But anyways, with this one, it was lovely. It was great. It was like textbook style. I loved it. I really did. So he was coming on approach. I don't know why the helicopter's still there. I think it's gonna save my butt if I eject. So this one's just, it was perfect, man. Check that out. Probably caught the first wire, maybe the second, but it was good. All right, this is my sixth landing. Everything was good on this one as well. It wasn't like fit, like it was almost perfect, but this one was still good. I liked it. So I was looking at my descent rate, my altitude, my speed, my angle of attack. I wish I was pulling a little bit green on this part, but it was still good. I was right in the flight path. It was still good. I liked this one as well. All right, so this one is actually the last landing, the aircraft carrier landing on the Su-33. Well, first, this one I was extremely high. My altitude was way too high, so I had to fix it. I had to drop the power, and my descent rate was started going haywire. I thought this one's gonna be a botched approach landing, and I thought I had to go around and do my last landing. So I was fixing it, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna fix it a little bit and probably hit full throttle and then fly off. But once I start to see that, I saw the deck and I start seeing green on the indicator. I said, you know what, I might catch this catch this landing. But it was great. I completely caught it, and I looked back, and I should be doing this to my entire videos, my entire landings, and I caught the second wire, and I was like, man, I didn't even know if I caught the fourth one, the third one, the second, or the first, but I caught the second one, and I liked it. It was pretty good. So I said, man, that was great. It was a good landing. It was great for the ending. So I hope you are glad to watch these videos of all my landings. And next time when I'll do it live, I'll make sure I look back and see what wire I caught. But I'm glad you saw this video, and I hope you enjoy it. Guess I'm moving really close to that. So, all right. I am so clicking. Okay. Awesome. Close that up. Get my engine started. Make sure my flaps is is down, my hook is up. Obviously, gears are down. All right, check that out. I don't know if I'm gonna make that. Already pressed startup, so it doesn't matter. So that's my
103. К запуску разрешаю. Ветер у земли 241. Скорость 3 метра в секунду.
103. Взлет.
103. Взлет по готовности. Отход по схеме на 300 по давлению. 755,13.
But it's not my phone, so